Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of Golden Era.
Over the past 31 years, I've had the joy of traveling repeatedly to many corners of this vast subcontinent that is India. It is amazing to see how landscapes, culture, food, music, dances, and even languages change every few hundred kilometers that you drive. You see the highest mountains of the world, great seas, bountiful rivers, and best of all, a people whose thoughts and heritage go back a few thousand years. Join us on an enthralling journey. I am traveling again across the whole of India to bring you spectacular India. In the verdant hills of Himachal Pradesh, the soul of man rises constantly in response to the beauty of nature. Amid the serenity of the overflowing world of creation, the noise and clamor of the material world fade away. Here the soul of man seeks constantly for contact with the Lord who created him. With the timeless beauty of the natural world all around, a marvelous body of art was born in Himachal Pradesh. It is in the silence of these hills that the artist looked within. He brought to us the essence of the beauty of life. A warm and vibrant spirit of worship spread throughout India from the 11th and 12th centuries onwards. This was Vaishnavism, the Krishna cult. The belief was in the direct love of God and the losing of oneself in adoration of Him. This movement, called Bhakti, led to an outpouring of poetry, music and art. The themes were the glory and beauty of the Lord.
Many beautiful miniature paintings were created in the hills of Himachal Pradesh. Today we call them Pahari paintings. The first flowers which blossomed of this art were at Basoli, situated on the banks of the river Ravi. In the Basoli paintings, the figures are full of vitality. The bold simplicity directs one to an inner spirituality. The figures are not delicate. They exude strength from the direct gaze of their large eyes. The depiction of nature is very stylized. Only the essential details of each tree are presented in a simple and vivid manner. A remarkable feature is the use of glistening emerald green beetles' wings to represent jewelry. Basoli paintings never cease to amaze connoisseurs of art. They are simple works, yet with a strength and vitality that is unmatched.
The paintings of the exploits of baby Krishna are most endearing. The humanity of these themes of the interaction between a mother and a naughty child touched the heart immediately.
The paintings of Mankot have the Basoli type of eyes and colours. The background is plain and stark, and the colours are rich and saturated. In Guler, the traditional painter met the influences of a new and dominant culture, that of the imperial Mughals. A new manner of painting was brought from the imperial court. It had its own beauty, refinement, and grace. This was different from the vigorous and simple expressions of the past tradition. The paintings of Guler display this new, refined, and graceful expression.
According to the Indian philosophy of aesthetics, our response to something very beautiful is considered akin to Brahmanand itself, or the bliss of salvation itself. When we notice the beauty in something around us, that is supposed to be a moment when we perceive the grace which underlies all that there is. Therefore, the purpose of Indian art has been a very noble one. It has been to elevate us, to help us to leave the mundane world behind and to perceive that truth and beauty, that grace which is in all that we see. Pahari paintings are among the finest works of art that help to make this possible.
The style of Guler also deeply influenced the paintings of Chamba. In the 18th century, during the reign of Raja Raj Singh, artists from Guler were invited to work at Chamba. There was prolific painting in the court here. Both murals and miniatures were made in a style which bore a close resemblance to that of Guler. The paintings of Chamba are deeply rooted in the religious beliefs of the people. The warmth and humanity of the hill artist is constantly present in these paintings. Along with refinement and technical skills, the hill painters brought to their works a gentleness and humanity which was unmatched.
Kangra is a small state tucked away in the bosom of the green hills of Himachal Pradesh. Sansar Chand, who came to the throne in 1775 here in the Kangra fort, was the first great patron of paintings in Kangra. His ateliers attracted many painters from nearby Guler, who brought with them a refined and delicate manner of painting.
I think when one thinks about the history of Indian miniature painting, one of the most remarkable schools, if you like, of painting was that was born in Kangra in the mid-18th century under the patronage of Sansar Chand. The most remarkable paintings were made illustrating texts such as the Bhagavad Puran, which talks about the exploits of baby Krishna, texts of poetry such as Bihari's Satsai and Jayadev's Geet Govind.
Here in Kangra, we see the development of the finest expressions in art. A great confluence took place. The burnished delicacy of the Mughal idiom met the deep spirituality of the land. With the refinement and technical skills in their hands, the spirit of the warm and simple hill painters took wings. They created a large body of paintings which are among the finest made by man. The Bhagavad Puran consists of 18,000 verses which were composed in the 10th century in praise of Lord Vishnu and his manifestation upon this earth in the form of Lord Krishna. These verses describe the life, the adventures, and the miraculous deeds of Krishna from the time of his birth. The scenes of Krishna's childhood exploits are particularly endearing and evoke the tender sentiments of the worshippers.
The world of Kangra paintings is one of tenderness and love. It is the spirit of bhakti, the joy of adoration. It is a supreme joy of the giving of oneself entirely to the divine, which fills the world of Kangra paintings. These are images of intense love. The tenderness in these paintings lifts us to another plane where there is complete harmony and caring.
The special quality about Indian paintings, miniature paintings as well as murals, but miniature paintings during this period is that, especially from the school of Kangra, paintings from the Rajput hills, from the Punjab hills, is that they're not illustrating events that are happening in the world that we see around us. They're not dealing with, passing emotions or passing incidents or even ephemeral personalities. They deal with primarily the creation of emotions or moods, which are timeless. So while some paintings may talk, illustrate or evoke the mood which the different seasons evoke, whether it's the monsoon or the heat of the summer or when the leaves are falling, other paintings talk about the love of Radha and Krishna. Not just the love of Radha for Krishna, but also the pining of Krishna to be reunited with the souls that are devoted to him. The cultural underpinning of all of this is the bhakti movement, of course, which stresses on devotion.
The poet saints of the bhakti movement wrote beautiful verses about the love of Radha and Krishna, of Shiva and Parvati, of Rama and Sita. The love of these divine figures for each other became the ideal of the people.
In these paintings, all of nature responds to the emotions of the divine lovers. The very trees and the flowers seem to tenderly reach out to touch and caress the painted figures. These paintings appear to be filled with a sense of adoration for the world of creation. Every blossoming bough, every bird, the grassy banks are all filled with the joy and beauty of creation. The cows adore the Lord and wish to be with him. They surround Krishna with the look of utmost devotion.
One of the qualities of Kangra painting is the depiction of nature. In these paintings, it doesn't just serve as the backdrop or as a sort of context in which the main action will take place between the two main protagonists, Radha and Krishna in most cases, especially in the Geet Govind. But nature is an essential element, as essential as the figure of Krishna, to evoke that emotion which Krishna may be feeling at that time. In other times when the lovers are reunited in the middle of forest, all of nature kind of comes alive and sings along with their hearts. Flowers blossom, birds chirp, and it's that same emotion of happiness or joy then that fills the heart of the onlooker, the viewer, as he holds these paintings in his or her hands. Another set of absolutely exquisite paintings is one that illustrates the Bhagavad Puran, illustrating the various naughty exploits of Krishna as a child. You see Krishna troubling his mother, giving his mother, huge amounts of headaches, and pretending to be sorry when she's scolding him. When looks upon paintings of the Lord as a child or as a baby, and obviously indulging in pranks and things that we see babies and toddlers all around us doing, the first thing it does is that it makes us relate to the Lord immediately. It evokes emotions in us that perhaps may be similar to that his mother is feeling towards him. There are paintings where Yashoda asks him to open his mouth at a moment where she's accused him of eating butter. And when he opens his mouth, she sees the whole universe and all of creation inside his mouth. And if you think about it, more than if you want to call it the religious or the spiritual message in it, it actually deals with a very, very simple and basic universal emotion as well, that for a mother, her child represents all of universe and all of creation, and of course, the Lord does the same too.
In the 11th century, the poet Jayadev wrote the Geet Govinda, which brings to us the most lyrical images of the love of Radha and Krishna. These exquisite verses bring alive the emotions of the lovers in scenes of their separation, longing, and joyous reunion.
Through their tenderness, these paintings elevate our souls to a higher plane. The poetic themes of love are painted with great tenderness. The Lord gently and lovingly paints her feet as she looks on shyly.
The entire range of Kangra paintings, as it deals with the various, the range of emotions that, let's say, Radha and Krishna go through, are not just emotions which bind us to this world or the material world, or one would imagine that perhaps if they're dealing with these emotions, one kind of wallows in them and gets more and more attached to our desires. But these are universal emotions which actually remind us that of the bliss that lies beyond, when one kind of moves beyond the ephemerality of these emotions, right? So in the paintings as well, while there is the sadness of separation or the joy of being reunited, at the end of it lies the bliss when the soul is united with all of creation, which is what any deity or the Lord represents. It is that kind of realization of the oneness of oneself and the pointlessness of the one's ego or one's ephemeral personality in the light of all of creation. Other interesting aspect, of course, if one were to study paintings that came out of Kangra, in terms of contemporary gender theory, would be the ease and complete. It's with a completely natural quality that there is no kind of emphasis on either masculinity or femininity. Krishna is as beautiful as Radha is. He's made with the same doe eyes, and it's also the roles that we tend to kind of assign to different genders in the contemporary period. There's a lesson to be learned from this. I mean, we see Krishna sitting at Radha's feet and painting her feet with alta in the most gentle and graceful manner. In the same way, illustrating a popular image, Radha and Krishna exchange their clothes when they want to escape the accusations of the village folk and they want to get away. Personally, for me, I think, if one were to compare, for instance, looking at a Mughal miniature, let's say made under Akbar's period or even later, while one marvels at the absolute perfection of form and the jewel-like quality of the imagery, there is a sense of being very, very anchored to the historicity of the moment, the exact moment in which a king was perhaps engaged in a battle, or the lifestyles which the paintings reveal with the emphasis on costumes and jewelry and the pomp and grandeur of the court. Now, when I take a Kangra painting in my hands, automatically I want to retreat from the world outside into the quiet place which this painting in my hand has. It's with a sense of complete peace and quietude that one enters this world, that one dares to enter this world. One doesn't want to kind of disturb the perfect balance that the image has achieved. And again, it's that evoking of that mood where you become a part of that natural world where the cool waters of the river are, the silence of the forest or the gentle chirping of the birds. And you want almost quietly to kind of partake of this immense love between Krishna and Radha, or the kind of joyous abandon when you see baby Krishna. You want to be a part of the world. Whereas if you're looking at a painting dealing with an ephemeral historical event, it's almost with this sort of, cold objectivity that one looks upon it.
The 15th and 16th century verses of the Ras Manjari and Rasik Priya gave poetic expression to the many faces of love upon this earth. These paintings depict the many moods and emotional states of lovers. The lovers are usually depicted in the form of Radha and Krishna. As in the paintings of Krishna, the eternal story of the Ramayana is presented in the Kangra paintings with a delicate and human touch. The paintings of Kangra bring these religious subjects tenderly close to us. The all-powerful Lord Shiva appears in these paintings as a fond and loving family man. We feel an intimate closeness with the gods in these paintings, as they are imbued with emotions we can relate to deeply. Beauty and grace in these paintings constantly draw our attention to something that is deeper and more profound than just visual delight. The tender beauty in these paintings is always a reflection of the beauty and the harmony of all of creation.
Surely it had to be a very deep devotion guiding the hand of the artist. And it was. The people who made these paintings were not merely artists with the greatest skill, but also intensely devoted human beings, who considered every work of theirs to be an offering to the divine. After many centuries, the paintings of Kangra take us back to the sense of the world created by the ancient paintings of Ajanta. Here again, there is a full and empathetic response to all of creation. These are the work of painters who see the harmony of existence and the tender relationship between the flowers, the trees, the animals, and the people in this world. These paintings present us a joyous world. The small hill states of Kangra, Chamba, Guler, and others are today seen as remote places. They were once great cultural hubs and centers of exquisite art. The miniature paintings which blossomed here are among the finest art of the whole of mankind.